Hello, family. This is RC Blakes, and I am so thoroughly excited. I'm excited because Queenology 2024 is coming back to Atlanta, Georgia, August the 23rd through the 25th. The host hotel is going to be the Whitley Hotel. Amazing. Women are literally coming from around the world. It is a multicultural, multi-generational, multiracial movement of women from around the world. And I want to invite you and yours to meet Lisa and I in Atlanta, Georgia at the Whitley Hotel, August the 23rd through the 25th for Queenology. For those that have the Royal Court package, it will afford you your entire stay for the weekend. It will also afford you a private, formal dinner with Lisa and I to open Queenology up. It also affords you admission to every event, everything that's happening for the entire weekend. Now, we also have the Saturday brunch and intensive package, which allows you to get into the brunch where Lisa and I will be sharing the messages that God has given us for 2024 to share with the ladies. This year, I'll have my own message, and Lisa will also have her very own message. It's going to be powerful. During the Saturday brunch and intensive, we're also going to have a very distinguished panel of men that are going to sit before the queens and answer the questions that women have always wanted to ask men. It's going to be amazing. Now, also those that are part of the VIP experience, there will be a time where Lisa and the ladies will gather in what they call, I think, the pajama party. And it will be a time where women will have conversation among women. I'm really excited about the culmination of Queenology this year because none other than the incomparable Dave Hollister is coming to be a part of our closing event, the all-white party. He's going to sing the Queenology theme song as well as entertain the ladies, the queens, for that evening. Queenology 2024 promises to be like none other. Those of you that want information, if you desire to be a vendor, Queenology.net. Those of you that may need payment plans, Queenology.net. Let nothing stop you from making your way to Queenology 2024 in Atlanta, Georgia this year. Tickets are going very quickly. I would love for you to meet us in Atlanta, August the 23rd through the 25th. Queens from around the world are coming. Queens from around the world are rising. It is going to be a coronation. It is going to be a crowning. Hello. This is RC Blakes, and I want to welcome you back again to another Let's Talk with RC Blakes. Well, we have a great discussion tonight. I think this is going to be, I really think this one is going to be, it's going to prove to be quite informational. I think this is something that we've not discussed prior because it's really like I just recently kind of started digging into in terms of thinking through um, what does it look like? What is the difference between loving a person and or versus being in love with a person? I've heard that said all the time. Well, I still love him, but I'm not in love with him. And to be honest with you, for the longest, it made absolutely no sense to me. I didn't get it. And I think it's because I didn't think it through deep enough. I didn't research it. And quite honestly, I just didn't really search my own heart or my own spirit relative to what that could possibly have meant. I love this person, but I'm not in love with them. What could that possibly mean? And let me ask you a question. Are there any of you out here now that are watching live, or even if you're watching the replay of this, that you relate to this, where you've heard this said, maybe you've even said it, I love this person, but I'm not in love, and you were being true, probably being true to your heart or your feelings, but you really didn't have language to explain exactly what it was you meant by I love them, but I'm not in love with them. What does that look like? The difference between loving a person and being in love with a person. And here's the main thing we're going to deal with today. How might one be in love? How to be in love? What does it mean? And now how do I do it? How can I be in love with a person? What's the proper way of doing that? Well, let me begin to unpack some of the thoughts that I jotted down for us today. But if you relate to that, the in love versus loving thing, I need you to just kind of articulate that in the chat. Yeah, I relate to it. I don't understand it. I believe today, Holy Spirit is going to give all of us a little clarity on this subject. So please share this and do all of the other things, because this is going to be a good one. Because in society today, we have a very, it's a very popular, that phrase is very popular, that's being flung around in relationships relative to I'm in love, or I love, but I'm not in love. What does that mean? Now, to the ears, when somebody says, well, I love this person, but I'm not in love with them, to the ears of the one that's in the relationship and the one that is listening to this, I love you, but I'm not in love with you, it sounds like intentional gaslighting. It's like you're trying to drive me out of my mind. What do you mean you love me, but you're no longer in love with me? Have you ever been in that position where a person said that to you, or you said that to a person, and they looked at you with a real hurt and puzzled kind of expression? But sometimes, and I never thought I would say this, sometimes it's actually a legitimate position to say that I love you, but I'm not in love with you anymore. And to this point, we kind of explained it like, I don't want anything bad to happen to you. I wish nothing but good for you. That's kind of how, we've explained it in times gone by. But sometimes that's a legitimate statement. Sometimes it's actually true. I love you, but I'm not in love with you any longer. Now, when we think about this thing called love, uh, loving a person is, listen to this. Now, listen to this. Loving a person is mostly involuntary. Two people naturally connect on a certain level and develop a love for one another. It's involuntary. This is why even when you're done with a person and you rearrange the boundaries of your life to a point that they no longer fit into your life, you don't let them in, but in your heart you can still say, I really love that person, but I love me more. It's because love is mostly involuntary. People naturally connect on certain levels and develop a natural love for one another. Now, the problem with loving on certain levels is that it's not always sustainable for life. Loving a person on a certain level is not always sustainable for life. Like some of you, you love people for the sex. And love, it's I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. Love, it covers a wide spectrum. Even in the Bible, in the Greek language, it talks about eros, which is sexual love, philia, which is friendly love. Then it talks about agape, which is godly love. So it covers, when you use the term love, it's really vague because it covers such a wide spectrum. So if you develop a love for a person based on sex, or at least what you think is love, because we misunderstand, or a lot of us interpret lust as love. Sometimes, you develop a love affair with a person because they are fun, they make you laugh, they make you happy. And then you get into some real serious seasons in life and you realize that them making you happy and them making you laugh is just not enough to sustain. Sometimes we love people because of finances. They are our bailout plan. Not that we're even using people, not that one person is using another, but because somebody's always there for you financially, you view that as love, them showing up for you financially. So in some way you love them. It's really just an exaggerated appreciation that you're misinterpreting as love, right? Sometimes we fall in love based on looks or our type, only to discover that our type will pull us by the hair and drag us down, hotel hallways and stump us at the elevator, but that was our type. Good looking, bad boy with a lot of money. And then you discover your type wasn't enough to sustain. And then sometimes you develop a sense of love for a person based on loyalty. They were loyal to you. They were there when you were going through whatever you were going through. And so based on that, you kind of developed what you define as love, but none of those things are sustainable. Though you love the person, it's not a lifelong sustainable model. Now, when I thought about this, my mind automatically went back to one of my favorite texts when it comes down to teaching on, male-female dynamics in terms of loving relationships between men and women, and how that can become quite confusing when you look at, again, the story of Amnon and his sister, Tamar. He loved Tamar, the Bible says. He loved her to the point that he was sick. He loved her so much, or he at least pretended to be sick. He loved her so much, and he actually thought he loved her. And to the point, they were half brother and sister, and so, in that culture and in that time, it wasn't unheard of for half brothers and sisters to have romantic interest. But, he loved her to the point that he couldn't control himself, and he raped her. Go to 2 Samuel chapter 13, verses 15 through 17. And this is to prove the point that a lot of times we have what we think is love, but it's not based on or based in anything sustainable. And in 2 Samuel 13, verses 15 through 17, it says, then Amnon, now let me give you the backstory. He lures his sister to his house under the guise that he's sick. And so she comes to fix him something to eat. Long story short, he rapes her because he feels like he loves her so much. And now we take it up from, this point. In verse 15 says, then Amnon hated her. This is after he just got through raping her. He just got through having sex with her. And now the Bible says, then Amnon hated her exceedingly, so that the hatred wherewith he hated her was greater than the love wherewith he had loved her. And Amnon said unto her, arise, be gone. And she said unto him, there's no cause. This evil in sending me away is greater than the other that thou didst unto me. Kicking me out now is worse than raping me. But he would not hearken unto her. Then he called his servant that ministered unto him and said, put now this woman out for me and bolt the door after her. So now, when you read the entire story, again, Amnon loved her so much just a few minutes ago that he was sick for her. But after he fulfills his lust, which he misinterpreted as love, he hates her and wants nothing to do with her. So the question is, I answered it for you, was this ever love? No, it was not. Because, watch this, love has many counterfeits. This is how you can love a person and not be in love. And I'm going to explain that be in love for you today and how to do it. Love has many counterfeits. You can think that you're in love and you're just in lust, or you're just in codependency. You can think that you're in love and you're really just in appreciation. And appreciation is enough to bring you all the way to the altar. If a person has been so kind to you and you appreciate them so much, it can bring you all the way to the altar. But none of these things are sustainable. You can think you're in love when you're really just in obligation. You feel obligated. Or you have feelings of desperation. You feel like this is your last chance, but you love this person. All of these things feel like the real deal until it's challenged, watch this, to endure a test, or you've gotten what you needed from that particular love affair. All of those things can feel like love until it comes under testing. Come on now. Until it comes under testing, or until you're like Amnon. You got what you needed, what you wanted, and now you realize, I don't love you, I hate you. And then you realize that I love you, but I'm not in love with you. Now, so let's look at this thing in love. Because we said love, to love a person is mostly involuntary, it's impulsive, it's a connection with a person on a certain level for a particular reason. But what does in love mean? While loving a person is often impulsive and involuntary, many times based on hormones and social conditioning, visual appeal, being in love with a person is a decision. Loving a person is mostly involuntary, impulsive, and hormonal, social, visual, so forth and so on. But being in love with a person is a decision, a commitment. Being in love is a daily responsibility and shared vision that both parties must buy into and nurture. You see, loving a person often amounts to a feeling, while being in love is an agenda. Being in love leads to selfless action. It's not an impulse, it's a decision. It's not something that, happens hormonally. No, it's something you've thought about. You don't fall in love. You really don't. You walk in love with your eyes wide open. Because to be in love with a person comes with a to-do list. Usually when you love a person, that love is tested, that so-called love is tested when you realize loving a person means that you need to do certain things for them, which is why this generation is missing it miserably in terms of loving relationships. Y'all don't want to do nothing for one another. You don't want to submit to one another. Men don't want to honor women. Men don't want to provide. Men don't want to protect. Yet men want women to submit, but they don't want to provide, protect, or be a man. Women want a man to provide and protect, but yet they don't want to submit. Y'all don't want to do nothing. This is why you can't get no relationships to work. Y'all just twist it all up in your head. Let me get here. Look over in 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verses 3 through 8, it says, "And though I bestow all my goods to feed the poor, and though I give my body to be burned and have not charity or love, it profits nothing. Charity suffereth long, and is kind, envies not. Charity vaunteth not itself, is not puffed up, doth not behave itself unseemly, seeketh not her own, is not easily provoked, thinketh no evil, rejoiceth not in iniquity, but rejoiceth in the truth, beareth all things, believeth all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Charity, synonym for love, never fails. But whether there be prophecies, they shall fail. Whether there be tongues, they shall cease. Whether there be knowledge, it shall vanish away." It's because love always comes with a to-do list. So when you're in love with a person, it's not a feeling as much as it is an agenda. You know that you're in love with a person when you want to do for them. See, a lot of you think that you're in love with a person because they do for you. No. When you are in love with a person, you seek to do for them. Ask anybody that has had a healthy and happy lifelong marriage, or, marriage for a long time. The reason marriages work for a long time is because that man wakes up every day trying to figure out, what can I do for this woman? He's not worrying about these idiots out here calling him a simp. That woman wakes up every day trying to figure out, what can I do? What do I need to do for my husband? And it's because the two have an agenda to do for one another that they are in love. Some of y'all can't be what you call in love for a year. How you do it for 30, which we're going to celebrate in October. Now, here's a statement that Holy Spirit gave me. Loving a person is often feelings. You think about love, just loving a person, as vague as that is, as we've discussed. Loving a person is often feelings that lead to actions. And usually when you feel like you love a person and it leads to actions, a lot of times those actions are against God's word. Those actions are self-sabotaging, are unhealthy, lead to things that, shouldn't even be mentioned in the same sentence with your name, but you felt like you loved them, and that love led to certain actions. Watch this. While being in love, let me read the first part again. Love, as vague as that is, loving a person is often feelings. It's a feeling that leads us into involuntary actions. While being in love with a person involves actions that lead to sustainable feelings. Loving a person is often feelings that leads to actions. You felt something when you saw his six-pack and you saw him, he's 6'5". You felt something, and that led to you crawling up in the middle of the bed. That led to you having a pregnancy out of wedlock for a man you don't even know, because you thought you were in love when you were really in lust. Love often leads to actions, while being in love involves actions that lead to sustainable feelings. You'll understand that better as we move forward. Now let's talk about how to be in love with a person, because most of y'all don't know. You want to be in love, but you don't know how to be in love. Let me ask you, how to be in love? Come on now, talk to me. How to be in love? You around here, you want to be in love. Answer me. How might you be in love? How can one be in love? How do you be in love? Come on. You the be in love fanatic. Tell us how to do it. You don't know. You don't know because you didn't even know that there was a difference between loving a person and being in love. You use that phrase to get you out of situations, but you never knew that there's a real difference. You can love, here you go. Here you go. Here's another one for you. I'm dropping some nuggets on y'all today. You can love by yourself. A lot of y'all loving by yourself. You loving that man ain't loving you back. You loving that woman is not loving you back, because you can love by yourself. But to be in love requires the cooperation of the two people involved. So if you there and you loving but they not loving, you're not in love. You are in delusion. You are in denial. You are in fantasy. but you are not in love, because to be in love requires, it's a two-way street. Both parties got to be involved for there to be any concept of in love. Either both are in or nobody's in. You just out here loving somebody that ain't loving you back, but you're not in love. Because in love is it's a partnership sport. It's like in tennis, you have doubles. Well, you can't play doubles by yourself. You got to have a partner. And you can't be in love by yourself. Now, I know you walking around here telling everybody, child, I'm in love. I'm in love. That man ain't loving you back. That man ain't loving you back. And I mean, I hate to just put it that way, but somebody got to tell you, you just around here fantasizing, going around saying all this stuff here. And it's clear this man don't love you. You are not in love, babe. You are in delusion. Well, let's jump right in, because I said I wasn't going to get in no trouble today. Number one, here we go. Both, how to be in love with a person. What does it look like? How do we do it? Number one, both feel safe to invest their hearts into each other without fear of abuse. When you are in love, both parties feel safe to invest their hearts without fear of abuse. That's when you know you're in love. When you're with a person, okay, here it is. The reality of being in love with a person is that it is emotionally comfortable and free. There's no apprehension about giving all of yourself to this person when you're in love. Being in love takes the terror out of vulnerability. If you are no longer afraid to be vulnerable with this person, you're in love. And watch this. You can't, getting to a point where you're no longer afraid of being vulnerable with a person is not just an impulse. That's something that you have intentionally paid attention to. This person has proved this. This is a product of the brain and the spirit, not just the emotion. So when you're in love, both feel safe to invest their hearts without fear of abuse. Now, there's some homework for this, right? Letter A, you have to create how to be in love in this respect, feeling safe and making certain that your person feels safe to invest their heart without fear of being abused. Letter A, create a trustworthy environment. How do you do that? Tell the truth. Be an honest person. That's how you create a trustworthy environment. Be an honest person. Both parties should be honest and transparent in your communication. Stop getting caught in all of these lies. And anybody that's constantly lying to you, stop saying you're in love with them. You can't be in love with a person that's constantly lying. You're in desperation. You're in lust. You're in something, but you're not in love, because to be in love, it has to be a two-way street. Okay, now let me get off of that. Both parties should be honest and transparent in communication. Right? Trust is built through consistent actions that demonstrate reliability and integrity. Letter B, how do we get to a point where both feel safe to invest your hearts without fear of abuse? Create a trustworthy environment. So, if you're a woman and you're trying to walk in love with a man, this has to be one of your non-negotiables. You have to have a trustworthy environment. Once he proves to be untrustworthy, or even if it's a man, once a woman proves to be untrustworthy, you can't sit around. Okay, letter B, respect boundaries. This is how we create a safe environment for both to invest your hearts in love without fear of being abused. Respect boundaries. Respect each other's emotional, physical, and mental boundaries. And this includes avoiding manipulation, coercion, or any form of abuse. Respect boundaries. Respect boundaries. This is how you walk in love with a person. Letter C, show empathy. You don't have to understand everything, but you got to be able to empathize. You got to be able to put yourself in the other person's shoes and empathetically feel for them. There are a lot of things that I don't understand about how Lisa feels or why she feels. She's a woman, I'm a man, right? But I try my best to be empathetic. I want to recognize and respect her feelings and her pain or whatever she's dealing with. This is how you create an environment where a person feels safe enough to invest their heart without fear of being abused. It's in a place of empathy. Understand and share the feelings of your partner. This involves active listening and validating their emotions. And then letter D, forgive and seek forgiveness. When mistakes happen, both parties should be ready to forgive and seek forgiveness, fostering a safe space for vulnerability. Because when you're in love, both parties feel safe to invest their hearts without fear of abuse. So the person that you're in love with is a person that you view as safe. If a person is viewed as unsafe, this is not a person that... Number 2, both feel heard and seen by the other. How to be in love with a person. Boy, and the more I sat with this and thought about it, the more I realized how this was a revelation that I really needed a long time ago, because I know so many couples that actually love one another, but don't know how to be in love with one another. And so they sabotage the love because nobody's ever sat them down and said to them, both of y'all got to feel safe enough with the other to invest your hearts without fear. You got to create a trustworthy environment, respect boundaries, show empathy, forgive and seek forgiveness. Nobody's ever, who teaches us that? But here, number 2, both feel heard and seen by the other. You'd be amazed at how many people are in marriages where one or both don't feel heard or seen by the other. Lisa and I were married for years, and she felt unheard. We didn't have language for it then. She felt unseen, and I didn't, I was young and ignorant. I didn't know. I was trying my best, to understand, but I really didn't understand. But when in love with a person, there's a sense of feeling completely known. There should be a sense of feeling completely known and understood by them. It kind of goes back to the Genesis account of Adam and Eve, where they were both naked and unashamed. Everything to be known was on display. And when you're in love with a person, that person has to feel heard by you and seen by you. You have to feel heard by them and seen by them. The person you are in love with prioritizes your voice. I pause because I need you to really think about that. The person you are in love with has to prioritize your voice. They cannot have any other voice that transcends your voice. They have to prioritize your voice. You have to feel heard and seen by them. Listen to the biblical principle in James 1:19 where it says, "My dear brothers and sisters, take note of this. Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry." How many of you all have been in relationships with people that were quick to get angry, quick to talk and say things they shouldn't have said, and never listened? And yet you thought you were in love with that. You can't be in love with a person that does not listen, a person that, the person that you're in love with makes you feel heard and seen by the other. Here's another clue. You're not in love. When you're in love, there's no anxiety. Woo, that's good right there. When you are in love, there is no anxiety. If this thing you got that you think is in love is full of all of this tension and anxiety and aging you and giving you bad health, you are not in love, dear. You're in something else that is clearly demonic. Because when you're in love, both parties feel heard and seen by the other. Now, how do we accomplish this? Letter A, active listening. Active listening. How can I make this happen in my relationship, RC? You got to become an active listener. In other words, learn to give your full attention when your partner is speaking. This means not interrupting and showing genuine interest in their words. Let me read that again. This means not interrupting and showing genuine interest in their words. This means cutting your phone off, cutting the TV off, cutting the volume down, probably off if the game is on especially, or if your particular whatever you ladies watch is on, may even be the game, but active listening, where you are listening, where they can see you listening. There you go. This is how you learn to walk in love with your partner, and you make them feel heard and seen when you actively listen. When you hold eye contact, you put your phone away, you turn the TV off, and nothing else matters. You're just locked in. You ask questions about things you don't understand. You ask them to repeat things for clarity's sake. You're actively listening. Philippians 2:4 says, "Let each of you look not only on his own interest, but also to the interest of others." Letter B, communicate openly. Share your thoughts, your feelings, and experiences honestly to facilitate a deeper connection. Now, where we can do better as men, in a lot of cases, not all, is to share more details of our experiences, our daily experiences with our wives. I watch my wife. I ask my wife something, and it could be a yes or no answer, and my wife gives me the whole story of, it can be something as simple as, did a pink package arrive today? And, the answer to that would be yes or no, right? But my wife would be like, well, strange thing. I heard the doorbell ring, and I was distracted by the telephone, and so I answered the phone, and I forgot
I forgot to go and check to see what was happening at the door. And I left and I went to the grocery store to buy, a roast and some vegetables and that. And I came home and I cooked the dinner, lunch, or whatever, and da 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 da. And it struck me all of a sudden that the doorbell rang and somebody delivered something. And I ran back down to the door and there it was, a pink package. And I'm like, so the answer to my question is yes. Yes, a pink package arrived. Well, you got to learn as a man, especially, to embrace that, to lean into that, because a woman that is talking to you, y'all need to take and share this now. A woman that is talking to you loves you. When a woman stops talking to you at length, she doesn't love you anymore. Yeah, these are things I've had to learn. Active listening, pay attention. Don't cut her off. Let her give out her whole story. Actively listen. That's how you be in love with somebody. Letter B, what I said, communicate openly, share your thoughts. That was my point. Letter C, rather, validate each other. Acknowledge and affirm your partner's feelings and experiences. This helps them feel valued and understood. And then letter D, nonverbal communication, big one. Pay attention to body language, facial expressions, and other nonverbal cues that signify you are engaged and attentive. Going back to what I said earlier, cutting all other stuff off, eye contact. But especially when you're communicating something that may not be the most pleasant, don't communicate it with a frown or a scowl. Now, it may not be something you want to be grinning about if it's something that's on your nerves, but you can have a pleasant demeanor while you're trying to get an understanding, because the aim here is, when you're in love with a person, the aim here is not to have an argument. It's not even to vent your frustrations. The aim is to get an understanding and come back to a place of harmony, right? So make certain that you monitor your nonverbal communication, so your nonverbals don't miscommunicate or send a message that you were not intending to send. Number 3, when two are in love, I only have 5 points tonight. When two are in love, both have an optimism about a shared future. Both have an optimism about a shared future. So when you're in love, the two of you are excited and invested in the journey you're both on. This is why conversations about how much money he makes, how much money she makes, are not always valid. You know what I'm saying? It's because if your woman makes more money than you, or your man makes more money than you, or whatever, none of that really matters, as long as they have a work ethic that you can respect. As long as they can take care of themselves like a grown individual, you can respect that. When the two of you come together, there's now, watch this, the merging of your two individual visions into a collective vision called marriage. And so now we're going to what? We're going to accumulate, and we're going to accomplish shared goals. This is why to each his own, but I wouldn't have a problem with prenups. I really wouldn't. I know a lot of folk do. And so, to each his own. This is just my opinion. If I were to be in a position where I needed to marry, or I was ready to marry a woman that had so much money that she needed to make certain she secured it, especially if she has children, I would not have a problem with signing a prenup, because at that point, it's not about what she had or what I have. It's about what we're going to accumulate together, because the thing that makes us in love is the shared optimism about our future together. Amos 3:3 says, can two walk together except they be agreed? So how do we do this? Letter A, set common goals. Discuss and establish shared goals for the future that both parties are excited about and committed to achieving. This means you got to do more than bounce around in the bed. You got to talk. You got to discuss where we're going. This is why, ladies, you need a man with a vision. If a man does not have a vision for a family, for a marriage, why are you with this guy? If he didn't have a vision for himself, how can he have a vision for y'all? Letter B, encourage each other. Support each other's dreams and aspirations. Be a source of motivation and positivity. This is how you be in love with a person. Both have an optimistic view of a shared future. Letter C, plan together. Speaks for itself. Letter D, faith and prayer. This is how both have an optimistic view of a shared future. Cultivate a shared spiritual life through prayer and faith, seeking God's guidance for your future together. Proverbs 16:3 says, commit to the Lord whatever you do, and he will establish your plans. Now, number 4. Both, what does it look like to be in love, and how do we do it? Both parties are so fulfilled when you're in love that no one else is a consideration. You're not even thinking about another woman when you're in love as a man. Ask me how I know. Huh? You're not even thinking about another man when you're in love. You know, a man can tell when a woman is in love with a man. She don't see nobody else. Literally, she don't see nobody else. She may come up to say hello or whatever, but you know, you ain't catching her eyes and she looking at you and, you know, staring at you. No, that's single woman stuff, or that's the stuff of women that are not happy with the man they got. When a woman is in love, you ain't getting all that kind of energy from her because she is so fulfilled with the one she got, nobody else is a consideration. And this happens when you make your spouse's fulfillment your primary focus. Don't allow other things to replace your spouse as priority. This is how you be in love and you stay in love. I love what Song of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 16 says, my beloved is mine and I am his. Period. Nothing come in between this here. He's mine and I am his. This is only accomplished when both parties are consumed with the fulfillment of the other. This cannot happen where people are self-consumed, which is why relationships today do not work. Which is why relationships today do not work. Nobody's fulfilled in relationships today because everybody's seeking self-fulfillment. The woman in it to get hers. The man is in it to get his. Both get used. But when y'all can talk about, well, you from another generation, you've been married for 30 years and you don't understand, babe, the same principles work today that worked 300 years ago. If a man and a woman are going to work, the man has to prioritize the fulfillment of his wife, and the woman has to prioritize the fulfillment of her husband. And how does this happen? Letter A, prioritize the relationship, speaks for itself. Genesis 2:24 says, therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. If a man putting his mama and his daddy on second tier behind his wife, everybody got to go. Nobody comes ahead of his wife. Nobody comes ahead of your husband. Letter B, maintain emotional intimacy. Smile. Say nice things. When you wake up in the morning, say good morning. Don't just wake up with that frown on your face and all that. I just woke up. I just woke up. If your boss was standing over your bed, you would have smiled. Good morning, boss. Good morning, boss. Letter C, express gratitude and appreciation. Nothing like it for being in love is expressing constant gratitude and appreciation for the things done. Regularly express how much you appreciate and value your partner. And letter D, avoid comparisons. Never compare your spouse to anybody else. Both parties are so fulfilled that no one else is a consideration. Proverbs 5:18 and 19 says, may your fountain be blessed and may you rejoice in the wife of your youth. A loving doe, a graceful deer, may her breast satisfy you always. May you ever be intoxicated with her love because you're so satisfied and fulfilled. That's what being in love looks like, but you don't get there, but you got it. But by what? Work. You got to do the work. Number 5, and finally, both are, when a couple is in love, both are sexually attracted to each other. And a lot of times when people have not gone to the deeper levels of relationship, people assume that sexual attraction is just something that's supposed to happen, automatically. No, you got to create it. How you going to be with somebody, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, and every part of their body has changed. And you think it's just going to be like, the first time you saw them where the hormonal thing kicked in. No, sexual attraction in relationships that are healthy and lifelong is attraction that is intentionally developed, right? Because as men get older, our libido changes. As women get older, a lot of hormonal things happen and a lot of things change with women as well. So a lot of times we have to intentionally develop the attraction. I won't tell you all my business. My wife would probably run me out of here if I told y'all all of my business, but my wife sent me a text the other day. My God. And that's all I'm going to tell you. You know what I'm saying? Hallelujah. Because when you're in love, you generate that sexual attraction. It may not be like the little childish thing that just all day long, y'all just grabbing at one another. Probably not that, but you're going to intentionally come together sexually and you're going to create, because maintaining the sexual tension in a relationship is mandatory to being in love. You see, cooking and paying bills does not take the place of sex. A lot of y'all say, I'm cooking for this man, I'm raising his children. That may be true, and that's something that we can appreciate. But that ain't gonna take the place for sex. Me coming here paying bills, I pay the bills right. That ain't gonna take the place of me connecting with my wife sexually. Sexual attraction and connection are mandatory. 1 Corinthians 7:4-5 says, the wife hath not power of her own body, but the husband, and likewise also the husband hath not power of his own body, but the wife. Defraud ye not one the other, except it be with consent for a time, that ye may give yourselves to fasting and prayer, and come together again, that Satan tempt you not for your incontinency. Now, how does this happen? How do we maintain the sexual attraction and the sexual connection? Maintain physical health. Nobody's expecting a 60-year-old R.C. Blakes to be what a 30-year-old R.C. Blakes was, right? But my wife is at least expecting me to do the best I can to take care of my body, that it will function. Don't just sit around and do things to yourself that's just going to kill your function and your complete appeal. Go get your hair cut, groom yourself, bathe yourself. That's a part of maintaining physical health. Take care of your body and your health as it contributes to overall attractiveness and well-being. Be the best version of you as a 50-year-old woman, a 60-year-old woman, a 70-year-old woman, right? Nobody's trying to get you to look like these 30-year-old girls or these 40-year-old girls or these 50-year-old girls. If you 70, you say these 50-year-old girls. You 50-year-old women, nobody's trying to get you like these 25-year-old girls. But babe, be the best version of your 50-year-old self. That's all a person that you're in love with desires and deserves. Then you got to maintain a flirtatious energy. Maybe that's why I should have mentioned Lisa's text message. Hallelujah. Flirtatious. Glory to God. And then letter C, communicate desires and boundaries. Discuss your sexual desires and boundaries openly and respect each other's. There's nothing like sparking, like if you've been married a long time and you had a bunch of children that just kind of jumped on your sex life and just robbed you of a whole lot of years. You know what? A great way to spark your sex life again with the person that you're in love with is to just have a sit down and just cut the lights down low and just talk about your sexual desires right now, what you need, what you desire, what you want, what's changed, you know what I mean, over the years. The Bible says in 1 Corinthians 7:33 and 34, but he that is married cared for the things that of the world, how he may please his wife. There's difference also between a wife and a virgin. The unmarried woman cared for the things of the Lord, that she may be holy both in body and in spirit. But she that is married cared for the things of the world, how she may please her husband. And then letter E, and finally, I have been long tonight. Schedule sex. Especially when you get to be like my age, you get a man my age, you got to schedule that thing sometime. So brother can get his mind clear and, get his little pregame regimen, routine activated, Sometimes you got to give your woman, she got a lot going on. You can't just pop in on her when she's in the middle of a whole lot of business and all of that necessarily. Sometimes you got to give her, let her know, hey, tonight is on and popping. So shut the office down early. Come on now. But my point is, this is what being in love looks like, right? And so there's massive difference between just saying I love a person versus being in love with a person. Whew, hope you got something out of that. Now listen, I need you to go to my website, rcblakes.com. I need you to sign up for my mailing list. Also, while you're there, check out all of my online programs, but specifically look at the one entitled Transcending the Father Wound. Also, those of you that are coming to Queenology in August for the first time, it won't hurt you to look at or to maybe purchase the Queenology online programs. It won't hurt you. Now, you don't have to do it because the content that we're going to deliver at Queenology, it's not like, you need to have had that to understand it. But I think it'll help you to understand the culture of Queenology, if anything else. But check out those online programs. Those of you that need counseling, we have a wonderful, wonderful connection with BetterHelp Counseling. And the link is in the description. If you use the link and you choose to use BetterHelp Counseling, it will afford you 10% off of the cost of their counseling. And they, in turn, will make a deposit into RC Blake's Ministries because I recommended them to you or you to them. Don't forget to go by Amazon, pick up all of my books while you're there. I would reach for them to show them to you, but they're kind of far, so I won't. But check out all of my books while you're there, and that's a great way to support the ministry. Thanks to all of you who have sown into the ministry today. We love you with all of our hearts. Now I need you to like this video. If you're on YouTube, you simply X out, and you X out of the the chat, and it brings you back to the main page, and then you can hit the thumbs up. You can like. I need y'all to like it. Now, I don't know how y'all here and y'all not liking it. Are you here because you don't like it? What's going on with this? I need y'all to help me with that. Well, I love you with all of my heart, and until next time, am I missing anything? Until next time, I'm R.C. Blakes saying to you once more and again, you are on top and you're going higher. God has more in store for you. So Lisa and I, we will see you at the top. God bless you. Until then.
We here at RC Blakes Ministries want to thank you for spending this time with us today. RC and Lisa are always honored to have you with us. Don't forget to reach out to us by visiting our website at www.rcblakes.com. While you're there, you may join our mailing list and receive a free download of The Laws of Manifesting Your Vision by RC Blakes. Also look at all of the online programs by RC. You may find all books written by RC and Lisa. Once again, all of us here at RC Blakes Ministries want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts. And as we always say, see you at the top.
My queen.
Wonderfully made. She's heaven's angel, so strong, even in struggle, yeah. When life comes like a storm from every angle, she rises above it all, the backbone of every home. Nothing compares to all she do. True meaning of every family. She's the glue. Yeah. Where would we be without you? You brought us Martin, Malcolm, and Obama. Yeah, and Jesus too. Oh, she's sophisticated, strong, simply amazing, humble, honest, and helpful, educated, ebony, eccentric, empowering. She's a queen, she's a queen. You better treat her like a queen. Oh, Her strength is amazing. Life inside, 9 months she's carrying. Back to work, cause the family she's carrying. Society don't give her just due, but she prevails and stands tall. A champion, a true woman.